Welcome back to another episode of Textual Talk, where we talk about a lot of stuff in tech, career, business, and more. In today's episode, Vivek Ramaswamy erupts over American culture on X, brings together a diverse panel of experts and professionals to explore the ever-evolving tech landscape. This panel features HD, Cybersecurity, Gabe A from Struggle Security, Before the Billions, JDI, Bryson Ross, and my guy Kenneth Ellington from ECA. We'll uncover the multifaceted issues surrounding H-1B visas, the cultural impact on engineering success, and the controversial hiring trends favoring foreign-born and first-generation engineers. Our panel also dives into cybersecurity topics such as the recent breaches involving major companies like 23andMe, Change Healthcare, and Snowflake. Tune in as we discuss first-hand experiences in the industry, the challenges of breaking into cybersecurity, the importance of soft skills, and the nuance of workplace culture at prestigious firms like EY and Deloitte. We'll also tackle broader societal themes from the undervaluation of American engineers to benefits and drawbacks of business travel. With rich insights and personal anecdotes, this episode promises a comprehensive look at the forces shaping the future of the tech industry. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an engaging conversation that spans from technical prowess to cultural influences and everything in between. Do you have a bad resume? Or is it all the above? Well, if that's you, then we got you covered at Textual Consulting. My name is Henry Davis. I'm a career coach and a cybersecurity professional, and I've helped hundreds, maybe even thousands of people get into cybersecurity with my coaching and my content that you've seen in various places. Now, I specialize in specifically getting people in the blue team. That would be incident response or SOC analyst. I can cover everything from your entry level to your medium to your advanced skills and really help you outperform your resume. You don't believe me? Check out some of these testimonials that I've had from recent clients. So if you're interested, click the link in my bio, textualconsulting.com/offerings to see what offerings that we have available for you. Now, back to the show. This video is being sponsored by Textual Consulting. Are you still struggling to get into cybersecurity? Are you not getting interviews? Do you have a bad resume? Or is it all the above? Well, if that's Yo, what's going on, everybody? Let me bring Cyber Shorty up here. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of technical difficulties. Want to give y'all the last live stream of the night, so y'all know what to do, man. If y'all are watching, I know I got this streaming on Twitter and YouTube. All my Twitter people, like, just come through and just sub. You know what I'm saying? You can keep on watching on Twitter and do what you do, but please do that. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit like, subscribe, share it out. I didn't know so many people would be going live tonight, but we got a treat for y'all. I'm actually going to drop the link for people. Well, we're gonna have a panel tonight, but also people in the audience. If you got something to say, you always want to say it, we're gonna let y'all say it tonight. But we got a lot of good topics to discuss, and I don't want to get straight into the first topic just yet. I know Destiny had some of those cool, like, well, actually, what we can start off with first is, how was your Christmas?
My Christmas was good. Honestly and truly, no complaints. I had a good Christmas. I ate good. Got to spend some good time laying around, watching TV, lounging. It wasn't too much. It was a light Christmas, but it was the perfect Christmas. What about you?
Same, as long as the girls and now Josh have a good Christmas, then I'm all good. So they enjoyed themselves, and so I enjoyed myself. So I think that's really all that mattered to me. And honestly, I feel like, listen, if you listening to us right now, put a 1 in the chat if you just been real tired towards the end of the year. Like, if you just been doing nothing but trying to, like, sleep. Like, just put a 1 in the chat if that's you.
Definitely me today.
Because that's like literally how it's been feeling, like, the whole time. Like, I get up or whatever, or for me, I've been staying up, like, really late.
Man, what? I went to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning last night. That is ridiculous.
I went to sleep at 5 too.
I need to go back to work.
I was supposed to take Natalie to school, and I was like, forget it. I'll take it tomorrow. Like, real deal. I couldn't. I was doing stuff with this. I was doing, like, a lot of different stuff. So definitely, I think it was pretty cool. So I know one of these fun icebreakers was, I like the one you said, do you extend your trip or are you there for business only? And I guess I wanted you to make that type of, topic for the beginning.
I think just kind of thinking about some people that I know, like a lot of my coworkers, like when they have to go work with a customer or whatever the case may be, they do extend their trips. I haven't traveled that often. And when I have, like, it's, just been a quick turnaround. I did extend one of my trips for, I think, like 2 extra days. So I got to just kind of relax, decompress. But I think it's just something good to consider because if your job's already paying for it, right, and you can add on a couple days to a new city or even 24 hours, it doesn't have to be something long, or bringing your spouse or your kids with you to, just extend the trip and have more opportunity to experience a new city. Honestly, I would do it no matter where I was traveling to, just as long as I haven't been there before, which I typically haven't. So I think it's a good idea if you can afford to. And 9 times out of 10, they usually will honor like the same rate in terms of the hotel that you get through your employer. If you were to kind of extend that.
Yeah, that's like, I know my last probably work trip was SplunkConf, and I got to SplunkConf early. Well, SplunkConf didn't start till, was it Sunday or Monday? I think it started on Monday. So I got there 2 days earlier because I went to see Usher at the time. He was there for Vegas for the residency. So
Exactly.
got there
Going
early.
early,
Yeah,
leaving
because they
late.
already paying for the flight. You know what I'm saying? And that's a benefit though. And you can also, so the good thing about work travel is you can connect those reward accounts and all that to your own private account. So you
Yep.
get reward points for traveling and everything else. So I'm with you when you're right.
Where's the best place you've traveled to for work?
I'll probably say Vegas. I've been to Vegas like twice for work. And
I'm gonna say Seattle, just because I think Seattle's a beautiful place. Depending on where you go, it's a lot to do. And it's really chilled. And that was the vibe I was going for. Like it wasn't a heavy hitter. I'm trying to do the rustle and bustle. It was really chill.
yeah, I mean, now Burbank was very pretty too in the morning time, but I didn't get to do a lot in Burbank when I went
To
years ago.
experience.
So
Yeah.
that's why I probably say like funnest, like Las Vegas, like you guys gonna have a good time, especially if you been there with some people that you know. So
Definitely.
let's see while we wait, because I'm gonna have to round up the panel for whenever they want to do the main thing. So I thought this was pretty cool. The worst handled breaches of the year. I'm pretty sure you came across that one too.
Yeah. I have something similar, I think.
Really?
Record breaking ransoms and breaches this year, a timeline. Mine's more of a timeline of ransomware attacks that have happened this year. Literally every month we've talked about some sort of ransomware attack.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so y'all that's familiar with us. Let me put this on the screen because I don't think it's on the screen. There we go. We always cover all these different breaches. So we cover about a lot of these like throughout the year. So one of the first ones they're talking about 23andMe, they blame the end users for the data breach. Then they say then they tell them like they should have made sure they had better passwords.
It was literally that. It was literally, well, y'all should better. They was basically like, y'all need to practice better habits.
Yeah, it was like, that's funny. It says 23andMe belatedly rolled out multi-factor authentication, a security feature that could have prevented the account hacks. And what's the other one? I think probably Change Healthcare might have been the biggest one of the year that they botched for real. For y'all that don't know, Change Healthcare was hacked, and we'll just read over it real quick. I don't want to go through all this because we've covered it, and you can go back in our back catalog and watch it. But Change Healthcare is a healthcare tech company few had heard about until February, when a cyber attack forced the company to shut down its entire network, prompting immediate and widespread outages across the United States and grinding much of the U.S. healthcare system to a halt. Change, owned by health insurance giant United Health Group, handles billing and insurance for thousands of healthcare providers and medical practices across the U.S., processing somewhere between 1/3 and half of all U.S. healthcare transactions each year. The company's handling of the hack caused by a breach of a basic user account with a lack of multi-factor authentication. We should have had shots and be like, hey, every time you see multi-factor authentication with a breach, take a shot. That's what we should have did.
It would have been tore up.
Facts. We have to end the stream early. Was criticized by Americans who couldn't get their medications filled, or hospital stays approved, affected healthcare providers who were going broke as a result of the cyber attack, and lawmakers who grilled the company's chief executive about the hack during the May congressional hearing. Funny enough, if I'm not mistaken, either the CISO, I think it was the CISO, didn't even have any cybersecurity job prior to taking their job.
He didn't. I believe so.
Right. But yet they want to put you through 5 rounds of interviews. Cool. Change Healthcare paid the hackers a ransom of $22 million, which the feds have long warned only help criminals profit from cyber attacks, only to have to pony up a fresh ransom to ask another hacking group to delete its stolen data. In the end, it took until October, 7 months later, to reveal that 100 million plus people had their private health information stolen in the cyber attack. Granted, it must have taken a while since it was, by all accounts, the biggest healthcare data breach of the year, if not ever. Yeah, and all they did was send us a little thing in the mail. They didn't give us no money. We want money.
150,000.
I think we covered the Synovus hack too.
I don't remember that one.
See, the NHS suffered months of disruption this year at the Synovus. I'm gonna say Synovus. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. A London-based provider of pathology services was hit by a ransomware attack in June. The attack, claimed by a killing ransomware group, left patients in Southeast London unable to get blood tests. I think we did cover this one from their doctors for more than 3 months, and led to the cancellation of thousands of outpatient appointments and more. In light of the attack, which experts say could have prevented if two-factor authentication had been in place, the UK's leading trade union announced that Synovus staff were strike for 5 days in December. Unite said the incident had an alarming impact on staff who have been forced to work additional hours and without access to essential computer systems. Now, the next big one we cover Snowflake, because this one really affected like a lot of people.
Snowflake was big.
Yeah, because it led to AT&T. So cloud, if y'all don't know, Snowflake, computing giant, storage, found itself this year at the center of a series of mass hacks targeting its corporate customers like AT&T, Ticketmaster, Santander Bank, all of them which was hacked, broken using login details stolen by malware found on the computers and employees at companies that rely on Snowflake. Because of Snowflake's lack of mandated use of multi-factor security, they said it's back. Is it back? Does it come back when I'm talking, or is it when we talk together at the same time? I'll see what the chat said of that.
I can hear it.
So you must be listening to the playback.
Yeah.
Do you have the playback open while we were talking?
No. It's just like right after I talk.
Okay. Dang. Okay. We'll figure something out. I think it's that static that you got going on. I hear it like going through. I think it might be too loud. You might have to turn your stuff down a little bit, but we'll figure it out.
How about now? I don't hear an echo now. Nothing.
Okay.
Somebody said, do you have any calendar openings for tomorrow?
Okay, now they said no echo. I don't know. It keep on like I think it goes and comes.
Okay. Yeah, it does.
No, I don't have any calendar opens until January 7th. I don't remember this Columbus, Ohio one. We didn't do that one. But this kind of funny headline. It said Columbus, Ohio sued a security researcher for truthfully reporting a ransomware attack.
Like what?
When the city of Columbus, Ohio reported a cyber attack over the summer, the city's mayor, Andrew Ginther, moved to reassure concerned residents that the stolen city data was either encrypted or corrupted, and that it was unusable to the hackers who stole it. All the while, a security researcher who tracks data breaches on the dark web for his job found evidence that the ransomware crew did in fact have access to residents' data, at least 500,000 people, including their social security numbers and driver's licenses, as well as arrest records, information on minors, and survivors of domestic violence. The researcher alerted journalists to the data trove. The city successfully obtained an injunction against the researcher from sharing evidence that he found of the breach, a move seen as an effort by the city to silence the security researcher rather than remediate the breach. The city later dropped the lawsuit. And then we already covered Salt Typhoon, MoneyGram. Hold on, not the clothing store Hot Topic.
When was that?
October. That's the last one, so I'm not gonna go into all of them. But that's crazy. Hot Topic was breached. Wow. There we go. We back online. Okay. Also, guys, if you got a real dying question you want to ask, special occasion, super chats get read first, and then everything else comes after that. But let me actually this thing, I'll let you take the next one. That way I can round up the troops for the panel, and then we actually can get it popping.
I'm hoping I'm not echoing still. I don't hear anything as of now. Okay, so I have AT&T and Verizon say networks are secure after being breached by China-linked salt typhoon. Let me share my screen. One second. Okay. So here we go. We have U.S. telecom giants AT&T and Verizon say that they have secured their networks after being targeted by the China-linked Salt Typhoon cyber espionage group. In a statement given to TechCrunch on Monday, AT&T spokesperson Alexander Beyer said the company detects no activity by nation-state actors in our networks at this time. Let's see. Verizon spokesperson Richard Young said in an email statement to TechCrunch on Sunday that the organization has contained the cyber incident brought on by this nation state threat actor and that it has not detected any threat actor activity on its network for some time. Verizon's containment of the incident has been confirmed by a highly respected cybersecurity firm, the company said, but Young declined to name the third party organization. While the scale of these Salt Typhoon breaches is not yet known, AT&T said China-backed hackers targeted a small number of individuals of foreign intelligence interest, adding that it was aware of relatively few instances, quote unquote, in which an individual's information was compromised. Verizon said that the hackers specifically targeted a small number of high-profile customers in government. Immediately upon learning this incident, Verizon took several key actions to protect its customers and its network, including partnering with federal law enforcement and national security agencies, industry partners, and private security firms. Verizon's chief general officer said in a statement, after considerable work addressing this incident, we can report that Verizon has contained the activities associated with this particular incident. This marks AT&T and Verizon. And this marks AT&T and Verizon and first acknowledge of their being impacted by the campaign. News first broke in October that the hackers had compromised the networks of some of the largest U.S. phone and internet companies to gather intelligence on U.S. citizens. U.S. officials said earlier this month that at least 8 telecommunication providers have been targeted. Lumen, which was formerly CenturyLink, T-Mobile, on Friday, Ann Neuberger, Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology, said a 9th victim had been identified. They didn't name who the ninth victim was, but yep, that's what they got, folks. I don't know. I think that we told everyone last time to be careful with the stuff that you were sending during this time. So hopefully you haven't been sending like your social security number, pictures of your driver's license, things that contain confidential data, because we always find out late as the consumers when our data is exposed. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty crazy. AT&T and Verizon. Anybody got AT&T? Anybody got Verizon in the chat? We've had these issues on before. Comment on the video after the live is over from, let's see. I'm trying to watch 2 live streams.
Yeah, Steven C said he got AT&T. But yeah, definitely you actually can comment on the video now. I've never had no real issues out of Verizon.
AT&T,
Speaking of, oh, you know what? We could segue into that. You know, AT&T is forcing people to come back 5 days.
5 days a week is sickening, especially
And
for
the fact,
people.
I think they ain't not even gonna have like assigned seats. It's gonna be like get in where you fit in.
Yeah, and I think in the past, I don't know what the culture is now, but I know in the past it was kind of a lose it or move it. So like if you weren't somewhere where there was an office, you need to move somewhere where there is an office so that you can go into office.
Yeah, I remember that.
AT&T is expensive too. Oh, we got a lot of people with big V in the chat.
Yeah, I just skip with Verizon just because I like every time I've been somewhere, I've always had the signal.
That's me with AT&T. That's literally how I feel. I never don't have service.
Right. Let's see who it is. At this point, shifting the blame to third parties that the company hired is a tired excuse. As if they hire third parties and hope for a breach is giving laundering, security response funds. So funny enough, I know what I'm gonna read next just because of you said that. Shout out to Jessica. They'll send people back like Amazon. These companies never have enough seats. Yeah, like one of my biggest issues when I was working at GS was it was cramped. Your cubicle where you didn't have no cubicle. It's everybody had a desk and it didn't have no thing in front of you. So it's just like everybody sitting, it was like no space. Like I was like, bro, I ain't come all the way down here. This is like COVID going on, people coughing, not washing their hands. Too much is going on.
I hope that that they work on the work culture while you forcing people to go into office. At least help build up a work culture that will actually make people want to come into office and engage with other people. Because I mean, it is power in working in office and being able to lean over or walk to somebody and ask them a question versus you having to ping them and wait till they get back to you. But again, it's all about the work culture.
Shout out to Bryson. Bryson, I just shot you a message too. So whenever you're ready. Oh, here he is. Look, here's Mr. Big Four, y'all. Let's add him to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kenneth Ellington to the stage, please. Let me see if I got a round of applause for him somewhere. Can you talk for us, Kenneth? I got to make sure we can hear you.
Nope, I can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Still can't.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
I'm really Big Four. I'm not with that mess anymore.
I know. No, so everybody, one of our topics was going to be about a young black lady. And Bryson and I actually talked about it a little bit on the podcast episode last week about how she felt like Deloitte was treating her because she was black and everything. Which I saw too. I saw both hands. I felt like it was a person that was green in corporate America who just also didn't have a mentor and just really wasn't a culture fit. And I was like, honestly, I think a lot of people aren't culture fits for Big Four just based off of how they want you to work and versus what you want to do. So since he got Kenneth up here, he's escaped the Big Four rat race and he's doing his own thing. We might as well just let him tell his surviving a Big Four consulting company story.
Yeah. When I was at EY for what, like I think almost 3 years. I left back in September. So I've been doing my own thing for the past 3 months. We just started our staffing division as well this past December. So we've been trying to get candidates placed for one of my clients. I've been trying to build that up. But yeah, I was at EY for, I think, over 2.5 years. When I was there, it was a very interesting experience. At first, it was pretty great. Like overall, it was honestly pretty good. When I look back on it, there were just certain things I didn't really like about it. It is very, very competitive, right? A lot of people, that is their entire life, right? That's the reason why they're alive. That's the reason they exist in the planet is to work at like a Big Four. I remember, so one of my senior managers, I worked at a really big financial company out in like Raleigh. He was really cool, by the way, really awesome guy. But he lived in Seattle, so he had to travel towards Raleigh like every single week. So he would do like a 9-hour flight every single week. And so every time I tried paying him, he's like either out of office or he's basically traveling. And so he probably worked 70, 80 hours a week, probably, with travel included. That was a lot of people's lives. They live for it. Some people are like really cutthroat. They'll stab you in the back, manipulate you, use you if they could. I was just like, that's not really what I want to do in my life. I'm like, guys, we're just accountants. Our jobs aren't that important. We're not accounting for consultants, but they didn't really get it. And part of the reason why I left was because I had my own company. And when I started to make more money from ECA and Elton Solutions compared towards EY, is why I left, right? Because that key was like unlocked in my brain. Like once I figured out I can make more money doing my own thing compared to working corporate life, this is the reason why I decided to leave.
Yeah, you started listening to Myron Golden, and you decided that you know what I'm saying? What's the saying I sent y'all in that video saying like you get paid more to teach than you do to do?
Yeah.
X.
It's true. It's definitely true. Yeah, man. Plus EY always hiring for the same role, so that let me know that, something not right there.
Yeah, we've had a lot of turnover the past, like, let's say, year. I think everyone I came in with and all my managers have already left. My old senior manager, Tony, he was his CTO as well now. This
Good
was
job.
this is like, I think 2 years ago. We all kind of figured because they paid for him and his family to go towards the F1 racing stuff in Austin, and he got like behind the scenes stuff. The tickets for like $20,000 per person. They pay for 4 people to go. They're like, yeah, but he's about to leave. But like, no one's gonna pay you $100,000 to send your family out. So I think he said the total comp offer was like close to 7 figures, I think, or something like that. And so I'm like, I don't blame you, Tony. Tony worked like 90 hours a week. He traveled probably 2 to 3 times a week. So he would be in like either Seattle 1 week or San Francisco, then back to Raleigh, then back to Atlanta, then back to New York City, and you do that all within like 2-week period.
That sounds exhausting. The flights, TSA.
Now go ahead.
I was going to say that just sounds exhausting. I don't mind a role, and that's just my personal preference. I don't mind a role where some travel may be expected, but I immediately do not want to travel multiple times in 1 week. That's a bit OD for me in my lifestyle.
I know when I was laid off years ago, I interviewed for this role that's going to let me be a security assessor. And they told me my schedule was going to be Sunday to Thursday. I'd pretty much be traveling. And then I would get home on a Thursday and I like have a little bit of days, like, in Dallas or whatever. I was like, cool. At that time, childless, no kids or whatever. But, they said they wanted more experience. Granted, they knew my experience when they screened me. So I was like, it is what it is when it came to that. The stuff of the job search does not change at all. It's a shame it has to be as hard as it is. The good people get overlooked, and they are.
It's so ugly right now, with good people getting overlooked, with qualified people getting overlooked, with people who have 10, 15, 25, 30 years of experience getting auto declined for
sure.
roles that they're overqualified for.
Yeah, man, especially when they are trying to interview you as you're a newbie. Like you should just ask them about the stuff they do on their resume or something relevant to the job versus, hey, tell me about the CIA. I'm like, why are you asking me about that? Like, what port is SSH? I can go Google it. Actually, something important. Like, that's what
more about how you think or how would you handle this or stuff to really help them gauge and understand you as a security, whatever the role is. I think that's important for an entry level role. Yeah, what is CIA? You know what I'm saying? But for someone that's kind of more seasoned, mid-level, senior level in their career, let's do better at the interview process in 2025, folks. Please.
Facts.
I can speak from the hiring side because I have a staffing company now, so I kind of get to see the other side of it. And the biggest thing I've seen, granted it's only been like a month, is people don't read instructions.
Say it again.
People don't read instructions. Like for all the rules we're looking for, most of it state or federal government. So you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be in the United States. We had people, because Marquise is one of my partners on this as well. We have people that apply from like Germany or like India and be like, can I be remote from halfway across the world? I'm like, no. It says U.S. citizenship right here. And they get mad at us. I'm like, you guys are reading the instructions. That was like half the candidates, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like that at work
just
too.
apply just to apply.
Yeah, it's like that at work too. People don't read instructions either, or emails, or the context that you're providing them. They want you to give them the answers.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of you, Kenneth, for me, people come to me and they say, I want to do incident response. I want to work in the SOC. And so, I take out that list of questions that's on my LinkedIn. I say, okay, I pick 2 of them and I get them to answer them. And then that's how I assess, hey, are you there yet? Or do we need to go work on like some more foundational things?
People try to skip steps. And then another thing is we have like a list of questions you kind of have to fill out. People just put yes or no. I'm like, this isn't a yes or no question, right? I need more information, right?
What's your name? Yes.
Like that doesn't help me out here. And so I would say that's what I tell people. I'm like, even still, you don't feel qualified. Just read like the actual instructions for what they're giving you. 9 times out of 10, you'll be pretty qualified for it, honestly. Because people don't listen to it. Don't watch a thing where it says 100 people have applied in the past hour for a position. That doesn't matter to me, honestly. Half the time they're not qualified. They don't read the instructions or directions. You have like someone who's a dentist trying to apply to be like a cybersecurity engineer. I'm like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, these are the requirements I need for this position. You don't meet these. So just still apply, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yo, welcome to the stage. The man of the hour, man, the tech disciple. He's got YouTube. He got the YouTube commenters mad, man. If y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all have to go to our recent videos and see the Debbie Downers on what they're commenting about the video and check it out. And anybody who commented that stupid stuff that they commented it, they didn't watch the whole episode. We got almost 3 hours of content. Granted, YouTube got 2 hours and 15 minutes, but there's another 30 minutes that's on Patreon. That's pretty good too. It just doesn't line up with the episode.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
We good.
Can y'all hear me? Check.
Yes, I hear you.
Yo, how y'all doing? Thanks for having me once again. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I was looking at some of the comments earlier. The one you messaged me about, more or less what it do is like, yo, I hate it when somebody come on and say, I'm doing it for the black folks, when you just wanted, a job or money. And I'm like, bro, just because you have, in most instances, a one-to-one understanding of, or a one-to-one assumption that folks are kind of just, talking outside of their neck and not a true understanding as to how, black folks are. I think, one of your guests just mentioned, it's sad to see so many people being overlooked, and you kind of can double that, for black folks and people from marginalized backgrounds. So, yeah, but thanks for having me, though. Thanks for having me, for sure.
For sure. We got a question right here. CJ the Critic says, his IC squared SSCP renewal fee is due. Do you think it's worth maintaining? I think the only one I probably would maintain would be SSP, but that's just me, or anyone that's on that same level. But that's just me. What y'all think?
I say yeah, just because it's ugly right now, and you just never know what can come in handy for you. If you already know the material and it's going to be easier for you to renew versus start anew, I just think it's ugly right now. So it's better to have something in your arsenal that you can use if push does come to shove.
Yeah, but I'll say, as long as you're not working in the government, you should be straight. I hadn't had to, I pretty much verify any of my certs for like 10 plus years. So
yeah, we got a intelligence group within the place that I'm working in now. They verifying everything. They checking, double checking, verifying, hitting up ex employers. They doing it all. So yeah, I agree. It's probably best, to do your thing and make sure you're on the up and up until you get, till you are equitably employed. And you might already be in a spot, where you're good. But yeah, I keep that up for now, for sure.
Okay, so before welcome before the billions in the building. I'm pretty sure he probably finna get his setup on. He probably finna put a suit on.
Yeah, I'm not even home yet, man. Hold on a second. How do I switch my cameras?
While we wait on him, this is a good comment, and everybody can get their own. I'll actually dive back and let everybody else talk first. But he says, I don't think not having the prerequisites should stop you from applying. So
it depends.
Right. It's one of those depends.
Yeah.
If you know for sure, like I put it like this, if you ain't got none of the prereqs and you just applying, you wasting your time. But if it's like 8 required things, you meet like 6 of them, I could see you going with that, like saying, you know what, he ain't got all 8, but he got 6. But a lot of times, people don't have any of them and they just applying. So that's kind of where we go from there. And let me share her comment real quick. Just let people on Twitter know we can see all y'all comments. So if y'all got questions, definitely put them here. And if you got a question you really want to be like a deep dive on and pretty much diligently like solve, like send us a super chat. We got you.
We got another one from Bearded Ruckus.
I was trying to let Kenneth and Bryson go before we got to Bearded Ruckus.
Oh, just chime in.
Man, let him go. He got a collar on his shirt. Hold on, I gotta go and come back. Hold on, y'all.
He probably at some networking event knowing him.
You got cufflinks on too, bro? What's going on?
Yeah, he and your old stomping grounds.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Great.
Doing good, man. Pleasure to meet you guys. And I am not at a networking event. I'm just at the house.
Cool. I sent you the link for sure because the next big topic is going to be the Indians and the H-1Bs.
Yeah.
And I know that you've worked with them at contracting places. Pretty much everybody has probably worked with like some Indians before. So that's why I feel like this would be a good group discussion. Bearded Ruckus says, I landed my first SNOC role and was honest with the CEO, but they saw the intense effort put in place from 2 educational platforms, search projects, documentation, social media presence. Yeah. So that's a lot of things that I'm telling the people who don't have a lot of experience to do, because that's one of the things that you can't coach. It's not a sport, but you can't teach like drive and determination. Sometimes they may be the thing that'll let you get in over somebody that has more experience than you. Well, not more experience, but like if it's an entry-level job and this person is probably doing the bare minimum, but you going above and beyond, you're probably gonna go above and beyond at the job too, because you really want to make it work. So appreciate you, Fan Perry, man. Appreciate you, man. He definitely is a supporter. So I definitely rock with that. And we're gonna answer like 2 more of these, and then we're gonna get back on scheduled programming. We'll leave some of these questions towards the end. And he says, how do we break in if we don't have anything except labs? That's G14 classified information. But no, it's always a way to showcase the labs, but a lot of people do it wrong. Here's the man of the plan. Here we go. Mr. Struggle Security in the building, everybody. Mr. Gabe.
Hey.
So Gabe?
Hey, what's up? Hold on 1 second. I'm getting stuff together.
Cool.
I don't want to interrupt.
I'll chime in about the lab thing. I think it's important for you to not do the lab to get it done. Hear me out. I know you don't want to do the lab, but the lab is what you potentially could be doing in real life. And even when I was in school, I'm guilty of it as a student. All right, let me just get this done. Or not even me really not understanding even the setup of the environment that I'm working on. So 1, you really need to understand, what are we doing in this lab? when you're doing those labs, they tell you what the objectives are. They tell you what tools you're using. They give you the scenario. And so what you need to do is keep track of that stuff, screenshot it, whatever you need to do so that you can start adding some of those to your resume. Because if you're actually doing it and you're paying attention and you're invested in learning through that lab, sometimes you might have to do it more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times to really understand what you're doing. If you don't understand, some of the instructions or the directions, there's a lot of things that you can do, to try to better understand what the objective is of that lab. But just because you're doing labs doesn't mean that isn't something beneficial to you. You just have to know how to tell the right story on what you were doing in these labs and how that's applied in a real life environment. I had to learn that the hard way, because when I was done with school, I was just like, okay, what did I do? What did I learn? So I had to go back and look at my syllabuses, pull up some of those labs and understand, okay, this lab, I use this tool to do X, Y, and Z. So that's my take on it.
I want to add to that too. Is that clapping sound?
Yeah.
Man, I pulled out the soundboard. Yeah, I want to add to that too. I get a lot of folks that ask me like, yo, how does this knowledge transfer as it relates to the labs? And for me, at least when hiring in terms of tier 1 roles across the board, I look for intentionality and I look for effort. And one thing that really stood out to me years ago, somebody that was trying to break into cybersecurity, they had a bunch of labs and stuff that they did online, but he had this page, I think it was like My Cyber Journey or something like that. He had this page where he was recording himself going through each lab, and he was like narrating those. And like, not saying that you should do this, but might provide an opportunity for you to stand out to potential employers. But he was like narrating, what he was doing and kind of walking through, oh, I messed up here, I fixed it here. And this is an example of something, that I would be doing in case there was, some type of intrusion detection or whatever the case may be in the real world workplace. And he made it kind of, snazzy and stuff. He was kind of a commentator on his own labs that he did screen records on, and he was posting those. And we ended up hiring that person. But yeah, I would advise you, at least with the labs, to kind of get, a little creative as well. While you kind of building out your own online repository or whatever the case may be. Because in a lot of instances, especially now, I know it may feel like, kind of shooting in the dark when applying for jobs and, speaking to recruiters or whatever the case may be. And all you have to show is labs. In some of those instances where you are able to go the extra step or the extra mile to make yourself stand out, it can help out in that regard as well. But the biggest thing in that is, making sure that you're able to show that you have an understanding of some of the things that you've done. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah, I can add on to that too. I completely agree. And really, it's just creating content. I mean, like, I created content of me studying for a meta job interview, and that got picked up by Business Insider. So if you just show that you're doing the work, it really is like, if it's not recorded, it most likely didn't happen in most people's eyes, even if you did the actions. So I think that's a great idea to film yourself, studying or doing labs. Just, creating content in general, be able to show you as like a thought leader and be able to make you stand out even more.
Yep. These are all things that work. Like 2 years ago, one of my clients, she was very good at writing, like one of our first calls. And Megan, what's Megan's last name? McLeod? I forgot. It's on my page. It's on my my textual consultant page, her testimony. And I saw from the jump, I was like, you know what? You're very good at writing. And I said, you should start blogging. And she started blogging. And I kid you not, I want to say like the next week or something like that. Like, she ended up getting like a job offer based on like some of the little small critiques that I made that she should do. And I was like, just like in sports or anything else, the people who do like the little bit stuff that you don't do, like while you sleeping and they are working, they're putting up like, 1,000 shots. That's what sets them apart from the person who just went to practice and took their ball home. So just try to use that metaphor, like doing whatever you can to stand out. Eventually your right position will find you. My God, William is a testament to that, as he went through his dry spell with like all the BS going on with his job search.
Yeah. And if you're scared to record yourself, like you just said, you can do a blog post, you can make a post on LinkedIn about what the lab was and what you learned and what tools you used. It might feel juvenile to you, but those things do stand out. And it is showing that you are, again, using some of these tools and you're understanding what you're doing.
And to highlight that too, it makes you stand out even more because most people are scared to do it.
Yep.
Like I remember I told people I had a YouTube channel and then they was like, "Oh, you do YouTube? I'll be too scared to do that." But it's one of the best ways. Like video in itself is one of the best lead generating types of content that you can make. So get yourself out there.
Nah, that's facts. But let's get into some of the fun stuff. I seen a couple of like CNN articles and everything else. They said this was the tweet heard around the world last week. And y'all see Mr. Vivek. I don't even know how to say his name. The only people with that last name.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy.
Look, he locked in. He know. He like, I've been saying this man's name all week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read what he said, and then we'll start the dialogue there, and then we'll cover what Elon said about him being in America, and then we'll just start talking about idealism and are the H-1Bs doing the same thing to white collar work like we've seen the legal immigrants do to blue collar work. I see the parallels there. So let me read this real quick and we'll get into that. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. At least since the 90s and likely longer. And I kind of want to pause with this. Like, he had no data to quantify that. I feel like he just threw the 90s out because he can then say for 30 years. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view those kind of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. This could be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from the slumber before and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiest over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us. Rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence, I'm confident we can do it. And so I'm going to stop right there because if I just go through the thread, you'll see like all this different stuff that they're talking about over here.
The flags at the end is sending me.
Right.
So,
Bro was hurt.
it was a lot going on there. It was
Okay.
it was a lot going on there.
I'll let you go first, Destiny.
I will go second because I'm rereading it to figure out what I want to point out first that he said that made me mad.
This is like why he pulled out. I think the issue with his, it's like very extremism. He didn't exercise the thought of duality to where somebody could kind of be both. Like, not even both, but in a sense, like, well, I got to just be, everybody want to be like Steve Urkel, but you can't also do regular stuff that everybody would do. That's the whole reason why those people probably they never run the company for most of the time. Like, they are very skilled, but they have poor social skills. So there's always a balance that's needed in both. And I think he's just harping on like the very extremes. I didn't even watch Save the Bell. That's before my time. Of course, I did watch Family Matters a little bit, but who didn't?
Yeah.
I mean,
Most
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
But
I'm going to say
I
nothing.
think I was going to say this too, is that
Oh.
I noticed that there's a larger need or a more important need for people who have both technical and like personable skills. So you see a lot of technical project and product managers getting more positions as well. I think that when it comes to the culture, really what it's just saying is that like, oh, people from other cultures are focusing in on studying and focusing in on science, technology, engineering, and math, when that's not necessarily the case for everybody. It's a lot of nuance when it comes to, the American culture or people in general. So he leaves out a lot of nuance in his tweet. Like, yeah, of course, you do have like the stereotypes, but as we already know, like as Black people in tech, we had to work really hard to be able to get to where we are today. And there's a lot of other people in tech who had to work hard to be able to get the experience, get the degrees, get the certifications. And that lack of nuance in his tweet really highlights the, I want to say, like ignorance in his standpoint. It's like, okay, yeah, you want to hire somebody who, like, the stereotype is that they're more skilled in science, technology, engineering, and math, but that doesn't mean that you don't get other valuable traits from focusing on other things. Like, being personable is something that allows for you to be able to make better decisions as opposed to only just taking orders. So, like how you said, HD, that most people who are only technical don't run the companies. You have to have a good balance of both.
Appreciate that. I definitely was trying to find a tweet where he was talking about affirmative action.
Yeah, I had a question. So many things that I have a question about here. So I don't know. First, the first one is, why are we using old American or 90s American TV shows as a barometer for judging if someone's going to be a good engineer or not? Like, I don't know why. Like, it's never come up during an interview. I mean, that's not something that has been Boy Meets World and who you like that compares it to somebody else. Why is that? I just don't understand why that's the standard that he's using to judge an entire culture of individuals' ability to be successful in engineering or a successful engineer. I mean, because if you look at cultural norms from some of the other foreign countries, I mean, so my father is from Nigeria. My mom is from America, right? Okay. How are Nigerians known within quote unquote tech or the digital spaces? They're known as scammers a lot of times, right? They said that they're a king from some Nigerian village and they want to give you $1 million or something, right? Am I going to use that cultural, I don't know, inconsistency as a way to judge the entirety of the Nigerians? No, that don't make sense. I don't know. It just is very using television shows and somewhat social norms that are potentially agreed upon. I don't think it's a good barometer to measure if someone's going to be a good engineer or not.
Yeah, you know what, Gabe?
That sounds crazy.
To add on to that is that usually things that don't make sense are a lie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if he's lying. I think he might believe this. I think he might believe that if you prefer one over the other, then you're hey guys, I see you're coming in to the interview. Which one do you like? Quick. Slater or Zach or I don't know who are the names here. What, Zach or Screech or something? All right, you said Zach. I think we're gonna have to end the interview. Nobody like that's never come up during an interview. I'm sorry, it's never come up.
And I also think that they leave out like a big component, but even just the oppression of some cultures, right? Everybody isn't in a place that even has STEM programs or camps. STEM isn't everywhere. It's not easily accessible for a lot of people that look like us. So, not giving folks credit for actually having the courage or the desire or passion or the curiosity to think outside what is actually normal for them or to want better than what they are used to seeing. I feel like he's leaving that piece out of it too, because that's a lot of our stories, our friends' stories, is we just wanted different. We wanted more. We wanted something else for ourselves than what we were used to. And who's to say we didn't watch Saved by the Bell or Family Matters or any other show? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. I was about to say, going back to what he just mentioned, both parts where you said, if it sounds crazy, it's probably a lie, and you saying, he might believe it. One thing that I am so thankful for, and I mentioned this in my conversation on the podcast, what was it, last week? One thing I'm so thankful for is my experience in Silicon Valley, specifically at Netflix, right, where you had a real opportunity. One, came in as an IC, but then I had an opportunity to break through to the management realm. And within that management realm, it's like, kind of the Wizard of Oz, right, having an opportunity to see behind the curtain. And with that comes the ability to read between the lines of the corporate speak and the reality of, that time period that he mentioned, right, the 90s. That is specific to the arena or the area of the time frame in the United States where I'll never forget, in the 90s, my dad lost his job. He was laid off. He was working at IBM, and he lost his job to this subgroup that was offshored. He was a networking cabling guy, right, that would go into server rooms or whatever the case may be and recable things, and he lost his job, got laid off. Got rehired as a contractor. His new manager was Indian. The entire team was Indian, right? And this was right around 99 and 2000. And the 90s kind of bleeding into the new millennium was the era where, America essentially decided, hey, we're going to start offshoring, right? As this new age internet thing is kind of taking off, right? So within that, him mentioning that era is kind of a, how they have the racist dog whistles where they can say, Reagan had the welfare queen and everybody else has their own thing where they can mention. That, in my opinion, was a dog whistle where it provides an opportunity for people that are, in the if you know community to have an understanding of this is where we're going to categorize the current subset of workers that will be coming up from this generation. For example, right, millennials. He's taking millennials in this tweet, in my opinion, and encapsulating us into this binder, categorizing us to say, hey, these are the folks whose parents didn't raise them right. These are the folks that, watch too much TV. These are the people that you will be seeing in your employment pipeline in the United States. But hey, you have an understanding, that these are the folks that were watching Saved by the Bell or Poker, whatever the case may be, right? They were not focused on the engineering. Now we have an opportunity truly with Trump coming in to bring people in that were raised within the culture of engineering, were raised within, kind of pushed in the direction of excellence, right? Let's push away. Let's move away. I think somebody said in the chat, the tweet is very anti-American. It is very anti-American, but it's also very American in a way because its sole focus is to delegitimize so many American people, but then, placing emphasis on capitalism in a way where we have an opportunity to bring over H-1B visa workers, pay them less, get rid of, this new class of CS people and people that are going to school in the United States for computer engineering that we would have to pay more, and then move towards a space where we're able to maximize profits for us. And that's all Vivek and Elon are focused on, in my opinion. So if you're able to read between the lines of this, I even made a post about it earlier on my page where I said, this is, in my opinion, the introduction of a new tech-led slave class where, if you work with an H-1B visa worker, for real, they will do what they told. They will not complain. They'll stay at the office as long as they have to. You can delegate as much. I've seen instances where people are just delegating stuff to them and they're like, yo, you can see the tiredness on their face. They won't complain. they won't go to HR because their immigration status is attached to their employment status. So, it's the perfect win for them. And then it's kind of left, us folks that are coming up that pipeline within the area that we are now, millennials in their age range that he delegitimized in their categorization. Let's move away from them and let's get the folks offshore. So I don't want to talk too much, but yeah, it's a very asinine tweet for sure.
No, for sure. I mean, that's why I think I shared on my story on IG, and then right after that, I said Bloomberg had made the post about Cognizant, like hiring nothing but like the H-1Bs for their company, like most of them. So you see them doing that, and then you'll see, and this is not necessarily, it's not really the same thing, but it's related of how if they get in positions of power, management, or whatever, hiring, they'll make sure your interview don't go well, so they can go ahead and send you the rejection email so they can get their people in. They'll do that as well too, because they know they'll come in for the low. I've seen that happen.
I think it also grossly ignores the whole genre or a whole nother group of cartoons and TV shows that were very popular. Well, that were popular among some groups. Like, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like, what happened to him? Or what happened to the Magic School Bus? Like, what happened to the Magic School Bus? Or what happened to Reading Rainbow?
What about Zoom?
What about Zoom? Yeah, Zoom.
Yeah.
Like, those were all very educational. Yeah. Come on, let's Zoom, man. I used to watch that. I used to watch it doing a little funny little, what was it? They had a whole language that was like Pig Latin or something. I used to try to break it down, understand what the structure of the language was. My mom ain't know what I was saying. Or they did all types of little science projects on Bill Nye. So, it's like he's ignoring other cartoons and television shows that were also popular. It's a gross generalization to say everybody was watching just these, and based upon people watching just these, this is a good barometer to judge folk. So,
but see that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hate it or love it, his name is not popular right now. But I was young, so I didn't necessarily grow up on it. But I grew up on the reruns. A lot of people watched the Cosbys. A doctor and a lawyer was together, or we watched Fresh Prince. A judge,
Prince, lawyer,
I think
Family Matters, like Family Matters.
So I'm
Smart Guy. Oh, somebody just said in the chat,
Yeah,
Smart Guy, right?
Smart Guy, yeah.
Smart Guy was
smart.
extremely popular. Yeah.
His dad was a business owner.
I know, like half these shows.
Smart.
Living single and living color. Folks in college, black people in college, going through their struggles.
Bro, the thing to me that I'm surprised now, and somebody may have, I was reading through the comments on the post on X or whatever. But the thing to me that's so absurd is the fact that I feel like he just put this out. He read it, he typed it, he read it, and he's like, this is good. But then it just screams insecurity in so many ways. It's literally like putting your insecurity as a say, for example, if you had an employee, right, that you were trying to figure out, and you were trying to figure out a way like, yo, this dude gotta go. And they're very mystique and quiet and everything else, right? They put something like this out. You're like, yo, this person is insecure in this specific area. This is a point. This guy literally highlighted every point of emphasis around insecurity that, bothers him. He's talking about, we don't uphold the mathematicians, or, we aren't focused on people that succeed in, the educational element. We're more focused on the jocks and stuff. One easy, point of contention is, take, for example, Andrew Luck. Dude went to Stanford, played football. I don't know if he won the Heisman or not that year. Played football.
No, he lost to RG3.
Lost to RG3. RG3 is another one. They both went to collegiate elite schools where athletes. I don't know if RG3 finished his degree, but Andrew Luck finished his degree. And I think, did he retire? Did he quit playing football?
No, football forced him to quit.
Football forced him. Even still, situations like that, just the mass generalization of things is intentional. In my opinion, you mentioned, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Reading Rainbow, all of those shows that wouldn't work for the recategorization that he's attempting in the tweet. The kind of dog whistle aspect of it wouldn't work if you mentioned in shows that folks would be learning from. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It's shocking that, even within the MAGA camp, to be as, ignorant to post that, to not have an understanding of, the people that are in the party as well with you. that was I'm like, yo, did they approve this tweet? Like, does he know? Is he still with the Republicans, or what's the deal? So I was shocked by it all around. But it's always a good thing when people say the quiet part out loud. The things that they're talking about behind closed doors, they get excited to say those things out loud for us to see.
Yes, we have competitive numbers against other countries. If that's the case, it wouldn't be so many people looking for jobs. The deal is the job process in itself is fudged. There are so many people that can do the jobs, can be qualified, but can't get hired. Like, that's the issue. Like, I don't know why. Like, Eileen, like we do. We've had, if we just stick strictly to cybersecurity over the last 3 years, we had so many people go out and get started up, train, learn, lab, whatever, and they can't get a job to save their life.
Yeah. I think it's also part of the network too, though, right? And so a lot of times they'll come over, like H-1B visas, they'll come over and they'll bring their entire family over, right? And then they'll also help to bring everybody into the same organization.
Yeah.
And I think that we have that to a degree. I just don't think that we have those sheer numbers in order to really support that same type of H-1B visa network. And I've even seen where sometimes they'll come and start a job. Individual will come and start a job, and then everybody is kind of surrounding them and helping them accomplish tasks. Some of them will do their work for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it like be a they them thing, but those are some of the behaviors that I think that have made them very successful within job roles.
Yeah, bro. And I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say, I think too. You're talking about the network. When you look at kind of the top-down ideology of it, and you look at the CEOs of these major tech companies, realistically, I said this in my video earlier, it's a dotted line back to, these home countries. You got NVIDIA with ties to Taiwan. You got AMD with ties to Taiwan. You got Google with ties to India and, the uplift that they've had in terms of the H-1B visa people coming over. I've seen that as well. Indian? Yes, the CEO is Indian, and they just had, I think it was a finance push or something that they gave to increase the amount of, Indian workers straight out of high school, like being able to bypass and get to university in the U.S., being able to, because that last loophole, we talk a lot about this via nonprofit, right? That last loophole, once you get out of high school, whatever, in India, for example, when you make it over to university, that last slot is, hey, I have to get a job before I graduate or within the 3 months of me graduating so that I can stay in the country. So now Trump is saying, yo, I feel like if you graduate from a U.S. university, then you need to graduate with your H-1B visa. And that's it. That's jackpot right there, because that's the last, slot of opportunity that prevents a lot of those workers from, being able to stay over here. So I don't know, man. I think it's gonna look, a lot of ways. I think it's gonna look different, when Trump get in there. We'll see what really happened. Because at this point, in my opinion, he's a bit beholden to Elon because of the amount of money that he spent to get him in office, But we'll see how it goes. Trump don't really answer to nobody.
Yeah. And I was about to touch on something. I think it was going back into like what we talked about last week with the comments and people talking about we talked about it before. If anybody's worked with people overseas, a lot of times you hear them say phrases like do the needful, or you will find out that if you don't tell them what to implicitly do, then it won't be done right. And somebody just said Boeing had to find if around to find out when it outsourced all this work. A lot of times, like the guy up here was saying, like Korea pumped out all them STEM workers. Now, granted, Korea may be different. They got a different set of standards where their STEM workers are probably good. But just because people graduating or they're in the field don't mean they're going to produce good work or want to produce good work for your country. We've seen that where people have worked overseas and sent information back to their home states and all those different things. And you'll see a company just really pretty much demise itself from the inside. I think ADP pretty much outsourced all their networking people to like overseas, and these people didn't know how to do any of the stuff. I know this from a valuable source. And I think they had a breach like literally right after like one of my friends got a new job and he left ADP. I was like, that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. And then once you lose that brand credibility, it takes a lot to build that back up.
Yeah, I think a lot
I
of
was going
it.
to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I
No,
think
you
a
go
lot
ahead.
of it has to do with the that we know or we hear is the cost to keep them is much cheaper. I think I saw someone put in the chat and say 2 for the price of 1, compared to, you know, that role being paid to someone in America based on our salary standards. They can get 2 folks over there, maybe more, for the price of 1.
No, that's absolutely true. Like that was the exact point I was going to bring up too. Is that it's a business decision. It's a money decision at the foundation of it. To hire an H-1B visas versus an American citizen or American born worker is less, right? And I think that's why. But it's so funny, kind of the campaign that Trump had ran in comparison to his opposition, because he was focusing on bring America back, right? Quote unquote, make America great again. We're going to put tariffs in order to limit the foreign exposure or the globalistic economic exposure to our country. But yet he's now promoting, H-1B visas, which is quote unquote, letting foreign entities out into America. So, I think it's a lot of inconsistencies. We're really at the foundation of it. Trump is trying to focus in on his best money and business interests. And if you bring in more H-1B visas, it helps to bolster the tech industry, quote unquote, from a financial perspective where it's more profitable, and then as a result, I mean, that satisfies, Elon Musk or some of his other constituents and folk that have been in his pockets or stuff in his pockets. So, yeah, I'm right there with you as it concerns a money thing.
I have a question for the panel, right quick, relating to this. Who here has ever been asked to train their replacement when they were trying to outsource your role? Because it's happened to me before, so I wanted to see, has it happened to anyone in the panel?
Not train them as a replacement for me, but train them as a replacement for my team that I didn't know they were about to lay off. So okay. I have been in that situation, and then it was kind of too late when I called on. Like, oh, hold on, this dude just moved over here to DC. Like, what's going on? Why he over here? And hold on, there's another one too. Like, oh dang, y'all laying my team off. Like, what's going on? So, but no, not for me directly as a replacement.
Okay. I've had to come up with the documentation on how do we do this, because there was no documentation on how to do what I was doing with the company. And the person that was taking on the role, they were in the US, but they were from India. But about 98% of the team was in India. So I haven't necessarily your replacement, but I have had to, walk somebody through. This is how you do it.
Yeah, it was kind of odd for me. I will say that it was like getting on morning stand-ups and then having to get on a call with them to, oh, this is how you do this. So and then you get the news, okay, you got to go. They're going to be doing the tasks that you're going to be doing.
Yeah, the crazy thing to me the crazy thing to me when you consider it all realistically is remote work, and I feel like remote work in the U.S. is kind of the chink in the armor per se as a resolution to this, right? The crazy thing to me is that Elon and Vivek are in charge of the new Department of Governmental Efficiency, right? But they mentioned they want to get rid of the Department of Labor. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. It's like, bro, it's right there in your face. Y'all pushing people back into the office. Literally, if you go and look at these bigger tech companies, some of the smaller startups are doing this as well. Your pay is dependent on where you live. You fall within a zip code specific pay range. The easiest thing to do would be to create some type of federal subsidy around college, right? Provide some type of element around remote work. If you could establish a certain band of employees that are in lower cost of living areas. Send some folks to Mississippi. Send some folks to Tennessee. Send some folks to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Pay those people within that specific pay range, as opposed to sending these jobs elsewhere. Because, in my opinion, as far as I have seen at the university level some differences in programmers and coders and cybersecurity analysts or whatever the case may be. But within the field on the day-to-day, I haven't necessarily seen, just that crazy, exponentially better aspect of work from people that come from other places. I would say we either par 1-to-1 or because of, you know, the American context that we do have, are a little bit ahead. So I don't know. It's interesting to me, you know, that they aren't looking into other arenas, specifically remote work or subsidizing some form of college for people that graduate with, you know, tech degrees. That's an easy win, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Change this thing around.
And I was going to add too, one of the things I think about why they can also be cool with taking less money. It's like that cultural thing. Like when you think about like Mexicans, like down here in Texas, like you'll have 5-10 Mexicans stand in a spot together. I think when I worked like a couple of companies ago, there was like 4 of them that stayed in the house together, and they all had, you know, careers. I'll probably making at least, you know, $70,000-$80,000, and so 4 or 5 of them are staying in the house and they paying bills. So it's like they don't need to make $150,000. They just need to make 90. So that's a cultural thing. That's one of our issues where like we won't stay together to build because of years of trauma and all that other.
They want us out at 18, man. When I hit 18, man, when I hit 17, my mama started coming around scratching back her head like, what you finna do? You know what
Might ask you for some rent too.
Man, for real. My mom was like, you going to the military? What you gonna do? Football didn't work out for you. Sports didn't work out. So what's going on? I'm like, I'm going to college, you know. But yeah, man, I don't know. That's where you get into that marginalized thought process. Speaking of marginalized communities, you know, that's a rare thing. I had a guy that I worked with at Georgia Tech. And I think he stayed with his parents. Bro, he stayed with his parents till he was like 31, 32. And yeah, he stayed with them forever. He lived in that they had like a basement fit out for him or whatever. He was making, I think, like 86, 87 with me at Georgia Tech. And he was paying his folks rent. His dad still works at IBM. I think he's on here. His dad still works at IBM to this day. His dad's like right below a VP. And he was paying his daddy, I think he said like $1,100 a month in rent. His daddy was keeping the money, right? I think it was his 31st or 30th birthday. His daddy gave him back all the money. He paid off his car. They bought in Atlanta, what's the park or whatever, the Loop. They bought a house, brand new build in the Loop, paid that thing off straight cash, paid his car off debt free, moved out. I'm like, bro, my folks, number one, that money would have been spent. I would have been paying their rent for real. I would have, man, money, tabs on the lights, tabs on the gas. You know, you borrowed my car, yo, you got to pay for that too. Man got a Tesla now. He about to buy a rental property next door to his first house. And he done got married and they still living in his first house. I'm like, bro, it's really like a thing that started at home, you know, but in our situations, a lot of times, even for my wife as well, I'll speak for her as well, man, we be ready to get out the house. Like for real, we be like, yo, this has been a, you know, very, you know, tight condition for 16, 17, 18 years. Like, bro, I'm finna boogie, you know, as soon as I can. I'd rather go get it, you know, get it out the mud myself and figure this thing out. But yeah, I don't know. I hope to be able to do that for my kids. So just have like a basement or like brother-in-law suite or something. Like, yo, come on back, you know, till you had the kids, because I don't want no screaming. I'm past that part, you know. But you can come back after college, you know, and save up your money, and work like that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I think in our community, it's kind of like, you know, get it out the mud type of thing. Like it's almost the point where, like, I remember my dad would like offer me things, and I'm like, nah, I'll do it myself. I'm like, wait, that's really a blessing, right? Like, you know, especially because in our community, we think of it as like, oh, somebody got one up over on me when they give you something, or they can say, oh, well, you know, I gave you this, and they kind of hold it over against you. But in other communities, they just kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to use these resources to be able to grow in my career or in life. At least that's how it was for me.
We see it as enablement a lot of the times, unfortunately, just based off historical trauma. We see helping each other a lot of the times as us enabling each other instead of it actually being help.
Yeah, for sure. And I also had, like, for me, my kids, they don't really ever gotta leave. I mean, they gotta leave. Like my son gonna have to leave eventually, but I'm not gonna kick them out. Like my parents, like, of course I went to school, but they didn't ever like just, you know, kick me out and say, oh, you gotta find something to do. Like they didn't really come from that. Like just quick background on my dad's side of the family, like they have like a house where like all the kids stayed at once like my grandma moved down to the city. So like all the kids pretty much just split, like they had no rent or nothing, just like utilities. And so they come from that. So they now the type of people to just kick you out there. And my mom and them same way at my grandma and grandpa house. So I plan to keep on that tradition. But man, Kenneth been real quiet up there, man.
Man, Kenneth just studying for a cert or something. He locked in like, yo.
I know, man. If we were talking about public sandwiches, he'd probably be on it.
Funny enough, my parents, well, because I graduated during COVID, so I kind of had to stay home because everyone's dying, everything was shut down. So I stayed home for I think an extra 9 months. So my parents did not want me to leave. They were very shocked that I moved to Dallas. One, because I've never been to Dallas my entire life. My first time I went to Dallas was to look for an apartment. Second time was to actually move out there. Plus, I'm the baby in the family, so for me to move outside the house was like a massive shock towards them. But they always worry about me, even to this day, even though I'm a grown man. So I could have technically stayed with my parents for as long as I wanted to, basically, until I got married and had kids. But I did kind of want to like explore my own because I was with my family till I was 23. I went to school at USF, so I just stayed home for most of the time. I never got the chance to kind of like go out and experience my own little thing, right? Which is part of the reason why I want to move to Dallas for work.
Listen, man, 23, man, you gonna be able to keep me out. I'm like, no, I'm coming back. I went and had the baby. Now we coming back. Where we want us to drop these bags? There ain't no way. These bills is serious out here in the real world.
Speaking of, chat, if you you ladies out there that got something going on for yourself in the DFW area, Kenneth is single and childless. I think he's still single and childless. And if you're in ATL, Will is single and childless. He got his own spot. So I mean,
he got his own spot.
Mm-hmm. So, and he got a good job too with benefits. So I'm like, hey.
He stretched back his neck like, hold on, bro. Hold on.
Right, man. But yeah, man. I stayed with my parents until I was like 26, and I bought my first house.
See?
So it helped me out, tremendously, being able to like get a house, but I already had a job in tech, and I'm on my like fourth job since I got into the industry. But yeah, just growing, expanding, trying to be prosperous.
Man, say your folks preachers, your folks pastors.
No, they not.
You sound like how I sounded before I went to college. Like, yeah, blessed and highly favored. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I went through 6 months of a job search. I had to get laid off.
Yeah.
And God got my back, man. Gotta say that.
Listen, I'm right there with you. I got laid off in DC. We was at my mother-in-law's house. They took their garage and converted it into like a mother-in-law suite, or actually a primary bedroom. We was in that joint. I was down there like, Father, please. I'm screaming to the heavens like, Lord, help me. So I feel you on that for sure. It's no joke. It's so strange. I feel like I know more people that I, started my tech career with that are, laid off or unemployed or like doing their own thing on the side now. Cause it's like, it's like I got kicked out of the house and I can't get back in, so I don't know what this is going to turn into. A lot of recruiters that I know are saying, oh, we're just waiting. A lot of companies are waiting to see who's going to get elected so people can decide what they're going to do with their money. Now it's like, oh, we just waiting to see, what Q1 is going to look like. After that, I'm like, what other excuse y'all going to, come up with? I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's going to be interesting to see, though, how everything is devalued as a result of, American workers not getting hired, people going to college, and then not being able to use those college degrees. You've been seeing the jokes online, where CS graduates get their degree and then they start playing the clown music on stage as they walk off the stage, so it's gonna be interesting to see for sure. But hopefully, hopefully we see a shift in the cert culture, online cert culture at least. Hopefully we see less Lamborghinis. You want this Lamborghini? Check the link in my bio, less of that.
Hey, Will know all about that. He did live streams on that.
Right. Oh, yeah. I had to change the content, though.
I know. Now that's his best friend. I want to touch on this real quick because we was talking about breaches that was handled wrong. I saw this on LinkedIn. Marriott had a breach that they had disclosed, and you can probably go read up on that. But it's a short blog. But he says the Federal Trade Commission just announced the final order requiring Marriott International and subsidiary Starwood hotels to improve their digital security after a series of massive data breaches stretching back years. What is truly shocking about the order is how it illustrates just how poorly these companies have been managing the security and privacy of their customers' information that they had to be ordered to. In effect, give a shit about the data. The order starts with, must not misrepresent in any manner, expressively or by implication, a respondent's collection, maintenance, use, deletion, or disclosure of personal information and the extent which respondents protect the privacy, security, availability. I feel like I'm reading the Security Plus book. Confidentiality or integrity of personal information. Say what? In other words, stop saying you care about and protect customer data when you obviously don't and actually give a damn. Next comes some additional requirements that just boggles my mind that they need to be spelled out. Have a mandated information security program that covers the GLBA basics of a security program. What have they had in place to date? Have information security assessments performed by a third party. They haven't been. Cooperate with third-party assessor. You have to be ordered to cooperate. Manage customer data deletion requests and then actually delete it when requested. What? You don't? What is mind-blowing to me is that we are talking about the largest hotel company in the world that's been in operation for over a century, and this is the state of their information security program, that they have to be ordered to give a F about security and implement the most basic protections. When we look at the constant breaches in the news, have to wonder about all the other businesses who are also just paying lip service to the concept of customer data privacy and cybersecurity. While their disdain for protecting their customers may not be as egregious, you only have to look at the statistics on data breaches to see that the sentiment is widespread. This attitude, which I believe is ultimately tied back to profit incentives within the board and management, is never going to change until we change those incentives. When profits are the only measure of success, we should not be surprised by the continual failures to protect consumer information. He sounds like he fed up.
Hotel security typically, traditionally sucks. Okay. It does really bad. So I'm not shocked. It's a little embarrassing for them though. Mandated by the FTC. You definitely don't have it together. Not even, I bet you they don't have a structured cybersecurity plan. And if they do, it's likely extremely outdated. And who's there to help you keep up with the changes? Because this industry is always changing.
Right, man. You know, them people don't care. As long as the bed's soft, they don't care. That's how I see it. Like I said.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, was it negligence if they don't have like a cybersecurity team to protect their data? If they lost all their information, people's credit card information, they have like where they're from, all this information that this PII data, if they were to just lose it or it get hacked or whatever, or somebody internally gives that data away, they would have to pay hefty fines. I don't know why they don't think of that, especially for like large organizations.
Bro, I tell you why, especially in the area of hospitality, there's no reason. They got the like if a customer is upset about you losing their data, yo, we got you a free extra night, sir. You get 200 extra points. We've added it to we've already taken care of it. And to top it off, sir, you're going to get free credit monitoring. You know how many credit monitoring services I have right now? I'm like, I don't want you to monitor you've done enough. Don't monitor my credit. Help me monitor this issue when somebody, listen, this literally happened like 2 years ago on Christmas. Somebody literally stole my Best Buy credit card, or somebody stole my Best Buy credit card number, bought a PS3. I think it was PS4 at the time. It was PS5. Bought a PS5. Best Buy called me like, yo, bro, you just bought, why you bought 3 PS5s in Chattanooga? I'm like, I am in California right this minute. I will send you a selfie. Like, that was not me. They're like, oh, sorry, we'll send you we'll track your card and turn it off, send you a new number. I'm like, no. Like, send me one of the PS5s because I can't find one, first of all. But then second of all, y'all need to get yourselves together because, like, yo, this ain't how it's supposed to be, so it's not really much that can be done,
I
especially when oh, sorry, go ahead.
We got to get mad enough.
I was about to say, now you sound like Luigi.
Yeah.
Don't Luigi it now.
No, well, not like, but we.
She's like, we got to get mad enough.
But if you think about it, and I've said this to the viewers before, like, how many times do people that you know in your family, your friends, their data is exposed, compromised, and they be like, well, it don't really matter to me because my credit already bad, or it don't really matter, so it's, for a lot of people, it's not a big deal, but it should be a big deal.
Yeah, people don't really have an understanding as to the implication. I tried to talk to my grandma about it the other day. She's talking to my uncle, Junebug. She's like, he came and grabbed my purse up and all my cards fell out and he grabbed them, ran off. I'm like, yo, he got your card, like your debit card? She's like, no, my credit card. I'm like, chase him down the street. Cause like, she's like, the old folks keep their social security card and the credit card and, a picture of them standing in front of their address. Everything you need to steal their identity, she just got it in her bag. I'm like, Grandma, that's a big deal. She's like, no, it ain't. That don't matter. It's out there anyway. Is the common excuse. If they want it, they can get it anyway. I'm like, it's not a day. It's your son. It's my uncle, and he headed to Memphis right now to purchase something. You should probably, at least close the card. So I think, an element of education, going back to Vivek and Elon, I think, realistically, there should be a consumer education. Yo, bring back them commercials. Like, I love to start some of these, consumer security commercials or something, like throw the hat sideways. Like, you sitting on the couch right there, did you get your credit card number stolen? You should probably call 1-800, whatever, to get some help on it. But people really don't understand the implications of it. They just kind of sit back like it is what it is,
Until they actually need, to do something and they can't. Yeah. And now you care.
Can't buy a house. Can't get a car.
Can't get a car because somebody already bought a car in a house in your name.
Can't get the Best Buy car for the PS5.
Can't get a credit card.
Yeah, it's crazy. Unless you're in Atlanta, I'm sure. It don't matter. I'm a different person in 24 hours in Atlanta.
Yeah, man. It also talks about like these data brokers that purchase or sell all your data, and all these people are using, the AI auto apply for these different jobs, just giving out the information. And then it's a lot of information that you have on your resume or when you apply for a job. You're just giving that away, and then they're just kind of giving it to whoever. That's why you get so many spam phone calls, especially during election day, right? Or election years and stuff like that. Like, how'd you get my phone number?
Bro, the crazy thing to me, I knew a guy that literally was trying to ramp up on his YouTube page or whatever, and he was coming up with stories from his real world workplace, and he would just change his name and like his manager's name, but it was like a real world scenario. I'm like, bro, if I can figure this out, I am not, a person looking to shut your whole org down. He's like, yo, today we had a breach, or this guy I know had a breach on his AWS instance, and the password was 1234 hashtag, and they told me they're going to change it tomorrow. I'm like, bro, you post, this is live. You done put this up. Let me go and try to log into this terminal that you done gave the whole overlay. I think a lot of people too, specifically, tech influencers, bro, they give so much information online. It's like literally you could just cyber stalk somebody out and let them talk out the information to you and be like, yo, this is my target now. This is the person that I'm going to follow for a little bit and see if they give me, some more intricate information. You got your real job on LinkedIn. You're talking about real world scenarios at your job. Now I know what tools you use.
That's all Scatter Spider do. That's all they do.
That's it.
We got a subscriber in the backstage. I think it says JDI, so we want to welcome him.
Yo, salute.
How you guys doing?
We good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm enjoying the talk. It's funny.
Where you coming from?
I'm coming from Macon, Georgia. I currently work in the industry as a new network security consultant. My background is a security analyst for the past about 3 years. That's how long I've been out of school. So it's been pretty interesting so far.
Nice, man. Mactown, David Lucas.
Yeah,
that's how I know about Macon, Georgia. David Lucas.
Yeah.
Man, I had someone to my tongue. Somebody had a question in here, and I want to answer a question. She asked about 5 times, so I really don't want her to feel like we ignoring her. Allison has asked, like for the umpteenth time, she says, what about the opportunities for the new graduates on computer science and information technology? Do the opportunities go to H-1B visa workers? And I mean, all that is contingent on who's hiring, if you want me to be totally honest, and what the company values. Do they value good work or do they value cheap labor? But if we want to go to here, we've seen this backfire. This is one of the real reasons why the Civil War ended. And one, because they want us to be free. The white people, they couldn't even make money because the slaves was doing everything for the low. So if everybody start hiring these workers for the low, some people not going to make no money, and they're going to try to reverse it. So we've seen this play out before.
See, we seen it play out before, but we ain't had Chat GPT tizzle. You feel me? Chat GPT gonna fill the gap. They ain't had that back in the day. All they had was a musket and a whip. Now they got the robots, you know?
Until that's compromised like Ultron, you know what I'm saying? Then what?
No, they ain't gonna get it.
Did y'all see Chat GPT was down the other day?
It was.
In the middle of me trying to use it, actually.
Yeah.
Just go to another LLM.
What'd you say?
Just go to a different LLM.
Yeah. No, none of them were working.
Really? Like Claude or
like the other, the other ones you can choose. I ain't got into Claude yet, but it's on my phone.
I got Gemini on my phone.
Gemini is too restrictive to me. I like to ask, like, I'm a history buff. I'm very interested in law. I ask things about, I think I typed something in there the other day, like, what are the general comparisons that you see between Luigi and Lee Harvey Oswald as relates to the attempted murder? I was like, yo, this is against our regulations, and we reported you to the FBI, sir. Like, what you doing over there, you know? But
ChatGPT is a little bit more urban. Yeah. It's going to give you the answer, and then after it tell you the answer, it's going to be like, this could be against our guidelines.
Yeah, but the interesting thing I've just found out, I went to Microsoft the other day, and they were explaining how Copilot works. And they were saying that the actual model itself doesn't store any data or any information. It's the actual application that you're using. So if you can just use like the API for the model instead of going on the application, you can like ask it different questions. It won't report you, and it won't do all those different things like the application would.
You can go to Reddit. I think it's LLM After Dark. And they have offline repositories that you can use. They even have a few that are stood up in the deep web. One is attached to the business application of Watson. I use that one a lot on the deep web, and you can ask it anything. You can even ask it like, "Yo, what is the active replacement for Silk Road?" I think is the common prompt, and it tells you like, "This is the application that Silk Road moved to, and this is where the servers are housed." And are you trying to buy what are you trying to buy? Heroin, crack? What do you need? It's like, yo, this shouldn't be, this is AI off the rails, you know? So I think that's the probably the version the billionaires use or something. Like, I want AI without the guardrails, you know? But LLM After Dark, I think it is on Reddit. You can check that out. You can use those. A lot of people got custom APIs. Don't put information in there. I'll tell you that right now, because it's a honeypot.
Did you want to real briefly talk about the Treasury breach that's pretty much related to Snowflake? I was going to say Snowfall.
Yes, I do. Let me share.
Yeah, Snowfall was another one of those shows that they were talking about.
But I mean, all them shows actually just show you kind of how to make it in life, though. For real.
Snowfall show you how to make it in life, you think?
Not to be like Franklin, be like Leon.
Man, Franklin was free at the end. You know, he got to pay no bills. He could live on the streets for free.
I really like Leon. He's my favorite character.
Yeah. I'll never forgive his mama for that.
Chinese hackers breach U.S. Treasury network, gain access to some files. Third-party cybersecurity provider was compromised after hackers obtained key to override certain systems. Another third-party provider. Chinese state-sponsored hackers breached the U.S. Treasury Department earlier this month, accessing several employee workstations and unclassified documents, according to an agency spokesperson. The breach was orchestrated via a third-party cybersecurity service provider, Beyond Trust, Hackers were able to gain access to a key used by the vendor to override certain parts of the system, according to a letter the Treasury Department sent to lawmakers on Monday that was reviewed by The Guardian. The compromised Beyond Trust service has been taken offline, and there is no evidence indicating the threat actor has continued access to Treasury systems or information. The hack comes amid reports that Chinese state-sponsored actors also breached 3 of the largest U.S. telecommunication companies earlier this month. During that breach, called Salt Typhoon, cybercriminals were able to gain access to lawmakers' phone calls and text messages. After the alert from Beyond Trust, the Treasury Department contacted the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and third-party forensic investigators to determine the impact of the incident. The Treasury Department said more details will be made available in a 30-day supplemental report. Treasury takes very seriously all threats against our systems and the data it holds, the spokesperson said. Over the last 4 years, Treasury has significantly bolstered its cyber defense, and we will continue to work with both private and public sector partners to protect our financial system from threat actors. Beyond Trust said on its website that it had recently identified a security incident that involved a limited number of customers of its remote support software. The statement said a digital key had been compromised in the incident and that an investigation was underway. So yeah, that's the end.
Yeah, I figured that was like an old like access key or something that they had access to. And I got to go back and track what happened with Snowflake. I think everybody kind of got hit in similar ways.
Yeah.
Typically, for people who are listening, a lot of times when you see these third-party breaches and you find out your company does some information with them, you're immediately just trying to figure out, all right, what our data that we have that we share with y'all is susceptible, so you can kind of get on top of it, because you can't really rely on them to do what they're supposed to, or else you wouldn't have to reach out to them in the first place. And some companies are quick on it and some companies aren't, or it's too late. They hadn't even realized like they got breached. So it kind of just goes like that.
Yeah.
But real quick, JD, the people want to know, like, I guess like your story, but so do you mind kind of like a quick synopsis of like kind of like your background, and then like we probably could work something out on the back end, like if we want to do something a little longer for the people that's not in the live stream right now.
Yeah. So essentially, I pretty much started off in college trying to get my cybersecurity degree. I think around my junior year, I realized I needed to get some kind of experience and decided to do a help desk role at the school. And then just through like networking, I met somebody who was in my class who worked at the school's security operations center, which protected the hospital side of the school and then the school. And he told me how to get involved. And I didn't think I would be qualified because my GPA was too low at the time, but I still applied and I studied for the questions, got the job, and got some good stock experience there as an associate. And then through that experience, I threw it on LinkedIn and used LinkedIn Premium, and a company called ReliaQuest, they reached out to me after I graduated. And I didn't really know anything about them. And I was like, it's an opportunity to go down to a place, and go down to Tampa, get some real life experience and get some real cybersecurity experience. So I moved down there in 2022. And I worked there as a SOC analyst for about 2 years. Just networked there, met a lot of good people. And then after that, my dad got sick. And at that point, I needed a remote job to be able to be a little bit more flexible to take care of him and also continue to work. So thankfully, through God, I just put my feelers out there and again, turned on LinkedIn Premium, and some opportunities came rolling in. And I got an opportunity to work at Expel, MDR, or Expel Inc., I believe. And worked there for about 6 months. And again, I'm going to just stress it again, like networking is very powerful. Through a threat hunter I met at the first job at ReliaQuest, he got me an opportunity to work as a network security consultant for this company based out of Arizona. And again, I didn't think I was qualified for the job, but they took a chance on me. And yeah, the rest is history. I think I just saw everybody leave.
So I've just been manually removing people and adding them back to the top of the stage. But no, man, it's stuff. We'll have to talk so I can get that a little bit more in depth. I'm pretty sure people want to hear more about that because you worked at some good companies, ReliaQuest and Expel. I definitely know you got some good experience there. So
yeah,
definitely we could talk about that. And now for the people who are still on, I had to do a makeshift way of adding this content on here so we can react to it. So we got a couple of videos on here, and let me see. Mm-hmm. This first one is preferenced by for people don't know, Casanet had posted like his car collection on Twitter or X, and people were saying, "Oh, you can't get these working a 9 to 5, yada yada yada." All this discourse about 9 to 5s. People trying to say, "Oh, well, a 9 to 5. We talking about working at like the burger shop or something like that, not like an actual career." It was like, "Nah, it's still a 9 to 5." So I'm gonna just preference that context with this video, so y'all can check it out. So I can't pause it, by the way. So we're just gonna have to let it play through.
You don't say. Interesting. Now, y'all sat up there for the past week arguing with me about Casanet, 9 to 5, they don't make no money, blah, blah, blah. See, and I told y'all, I don't talk about shit I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I told y'all this shit. There you have a young black lady in STEM. I think she's like a biochemist or something like that. Some crazy ass shit. Pulling in, take home after taxes, 10 bands of fucking money. And you know what? Instead of somebody asking, what is your career? What is your job? What did you do to get there? What did they do? They told that lady she was lying to the point where she had to post her pay stubs and what she was making to be transparent to shut y'all the fuck up. And that's what I'm saying. People don't know what the hell they be talking about. Y'all be broke. Y'all see the ceiling that y'all are in and y'all project and cast that on everybody else and say, oh, nice things that y'all want are unobtainable. You can't get a car. You can't get a house. You can't get it there. So you turn around and think everybody else can't. Because you have to dream and aspire to be a celebrity, to be the next rapper, to be a next streamer, because that's all you know. Because that's all you know. And instead of admitting that and saying, damn, I wonder what else is out there, you tell everybody else they don't know what the fuck they talking about. They broke, they can't get it, they earn so much debt, blah, 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 blah. 9 to 5s ain't shit. You gotta be a boss, you gotta be an entrepreneur, you gotta be a CEO, blah, blah, blah. So if she were to marry and get with someone that is making the same equivalent as her, that's 20 racks a fucking month. And if both of y'all are stable people, guess what? Getting together just cut your bills in fucking half. It's just crazy to me when black people, when we get on here and we try to tell y'all about jobs, careers, doing things like that. You can have nice things if you do this, put your head down, grind, get the paper. We get told we're lying. When we get told we don't know what we're talking about. We get told, oh, did you pay cash? Oh, but you got a lease and you got to do this and you ain't doing it big like that. But if a white boy told y'all the same shit, I be telling y'all, oh, he's smart with his money. He know what he doing. Yeah, you don't use your own money. Use the credit. Credit is king. Oh, yeah, use the bank's money, not your money. Keep your money in your pocket. Y'all don't tell them white boys to pay cash, and then they turn around and say y'all a motherfucking course. When I'm over here giving y'all the game for free, for the free. People will give y'all the game for the free. Y'all tell black people that we don't have it because we ain't pay cash. But you know how it goes. If it ain't no rapper, athlete, or entertainer, black folk ain't gonna listen. If he black. But then y'all get mad and wonder why these companies sit there and throw rappers and shit and instead of politicians or career people at y'all when it's time to vote. Because that's what y'all fucking like. Because if it ain't a white man telling y'all something, y'all don't want to hear it.
Benny went off. And background, Benny is from we both from Shreveport, so he really be going off on TikTok. And to answer your question in the private chat, I only work 40, none more, none less. Only time I might work more if I'm on call.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, are you passing it to me?
Yeah, I'm passing it to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, so I think there's a difference, right? Because even when I was a contractor, I'd work more than 40 hours because I was on call. I was on a DevOps team. And then now that I'm salary, I'm also on a DevOps team. So I had to do the maintenance and support. So it's more than just 40 hours per week. So when you say like 9 to 5, and then also it changes because like a 9 to 5 entails that, hey, I clock in, I clock out at this time, and then I completely leave from work. But then they also leave out that sometimes you have to like catch up on studying the actual job that you have. So if you are trying to be a good engineer, you have to be able to study even after you leave from work. So that way you can go into the next day and you can hit your calls and you know exactly what to talk about. So it requires a little bit more than just a 9 to 5. There's a lot of work that's involved. It's a lot of hard work as well. But another thing is that when they say like, oh yeah, 9 to 5, like looking down on 9 to 5 jobs. I mean, you can buy companies. You can also be an entrepreneur as you work your 9 to 5. So and I think really the companies and the businesses that do the best are from industry leaders. Like if you worked in cybersecurity or you worked in website development for several years, you can consult and that can be your business and you have the industry knowledge to be able to do well. Look at people who are CPAs, CFPs in finance industry, they run their own practice after they've worked in the industry for several years. Their businesses will do well.
Yeah. You just made me think about pocket watching with JT. But no, I mean, what did I see something in here? The thing is, our people don't believe it until they know someone who's doing it. And I'm glad they said that because that goes into, if anybody wants to know the context of what I'm talking about, go to the snippet video I did from Bryson and I's episode about the truth about working in tech. And it's titled IT Manager Shares the Truth About Working at Netflix. And you're going to see this long thread about this guy saying this stuff about Black people, yada, yada, yada. And everybody on there is trying to tell them different things as far as like, look, a lot of people got to see it to believe it. I've said plenty of times, I didn't really know anything about IT or tech. Like my first Black person, me witnessing doing stuff like this was the IT director at the College of Business who I was working for at the time. That's my first example of it. And I was, 19 at the time? Yeah, 19 at the time. And now the benefit that the youngins have now is they could be as young as whatever and see us on YouTube. And so that's the whole benefit of all this. Like the payoff comes later when people just start seeing your videos and they just start binging them and they message you about like, hey, I saw this, I'm interested in doing XYZ, yada, yada, yada. I get that like all the time. So that's where it comes at because a lot of people don't know. Like think about how bad some of these school districts are and where some of these people are in the state. And people always say, well, anybody can get a computer, anybody can do this and that. Man, there's so many different things. You can't just put that on everybody. Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, and also, just like you said, if you're not exposed to that, like growing up, I didn't know no project managers. I barely even knew what my grandparents did because they just weren't sitting around talking. I just found out my granddad was an engineer when I was getting my master's. And I was like, wait, what? Like, wait, you were an engineer? Like, oh, okay, tell me more. So if we don't know and we don't talk about it, I feel like with the birth of social media, more so TikTok and YouTube and stuff, you can see all these a day in the lives and just understand what people are doing in different career fields, especially if you don't know someone personally or you don't have exposure to people who are doing the things that you could potentially be interested in.
Yeah, that also, go ahead, Adrian. I was going to say, man, is that also plays a part when you're looking for a job. Because
Yeah.
I remember when I was looking for a job and nobody in my family knew like software engineers or anybody working at IT, they were like, oh man, just become a truck driver. Go to McDonald's and Burger King or something, something that people can put their mind around. But then I'm sitting there thinking like, does nobody know anybody in tech? And that's just to show like maybe just not only my family, but a lot of people don't really understand or don't see or the representation of Black people in technology.
No. I mean, that's most of us. Most of us are first gen corporate. So that's actually like one of the videos we'll probably get. It might be the last one because it's super long, especially since I can't pause it. But no, I mean, when I was laid off, it was I think my immediate family knew. I didn't tell a lot of people because it wasn't really nothing to tell. I mean, my network was okay at the time, but it wasn't how it is now. And that's why I'm always networking, or if it comes to even when a recruiter reaching out to me, maybe they're not a good fit for me, I try to go find somebody for them. I'm just always trying to build that warm bridge. That way, hey, they may come back to me years later, which has happened. I worked with recruiters 4 years ago. They come back to me and had the numbers right, and we talk. So it's really about that. Like those soft skills really come into play. Like YouTube, like you said, YouTube and creating content, and my LinkedIn has helped me out with a lot of stuff. And I got a lot of stuff in the works that I can't talk about just yet, but we shall. All right, this is pretty funny, but I think this is just to open your minds or like to kind of brag on yourself.
Everything that you do at that job is a resume bullet point, friend. Okay, I'm having small talk with my manager, and we just talking about the snacks that they are offering in the break room. And I said, well, you do know that Sam's Club has a $20 a year membership, and they honestly have better snacks. So I think you guys should really kind of look into Sam's Club. And he said, wow, that's a great idea. And you know what I put on my resume? That I spearheaded the efforts to reduce spending for our company, and that resulted in a 20% increase back into the budget. Everything that you do at that job, friend, you put on that resume. I love you. I'm just trying to bring some peace into their household.
Period.
So who gonna be?
She said what she said. She said what she said, and I agree with her. I think it's a learned skill set, especially for a first gen. Like we're already coming in feeling like we're behind, right? We're already feeling imposter syndrome a lot of the times. So we're not necessarily coming in knowing, oh, I need to be documenting what I'm doing this week, because at some point I'm gonna have performance review or evaluation. I'm gonna have to talk about what I'm doing, what impact I'm making. But if no one tells you, how you're supposed to know? It's one of those things. So now let's say you get laid off. You ain't been keeping track of anything. You done so much in a month, a week, whatever it may be. You can't even recollect, okay, what did I do with them? So always make sure you have that running documentation to illustrate your value and impact.
And that's the hardest thing on the resumes. People don't have their achievements mapped out. So it's like, what you want me to do with this? I mean, I can go make some stuff up, but you need to be able to talk to this stuff when it comes to your interview.
Yeah, man. You got to use that word spearheaded in your resume, man. I absolutely love it. Because ChatGPT just uses it. So that's why I put it in there. But I got to say this too, is that it kind of goes back to that video recording, or like telling people about the things that you do. You go up on stand up every single morning and tell people, oh, this is what I did, and this is what I'm working on. Do I have any blockers? You're using Jira. What I always do is you can actually download all of the tickets that you worked on in Jira, and then use that to help yourself in your performance review, or to help you with writing up your resume. That's what I did in order to build up my resume. Oh, I worked on this project I completely forgot about like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, that actually did provide value. And then you can see what other people did in relation to the work that you've done.
That let me get to these last two. What's going on, Kevin, man? I recognize you. I see you support the channel and stuff a lot, man. So salute to you for camming up. I think this is a good one I want to share with the audience, because a lot of times people think VPNs are the end all be all for them when they're using their phone or whatever. So I just want to share this to you guys from like an actual real cybersecurity GOAT expert. Not for myself, but here's the video.
VPN companies kind of make it sound like if you hide your IP address, no one can find you. So everyone focuses only on hiding their IP address and not the billions of other signals that they leave all over the internet. Ad agencies, they don't track you by your IP address because they know an IP address is not an identifier of an individual. It changes, or multiple people can share a same IP address. Most apps they assign you a unique advertiser identity. So that ID is unique to you specifically, and that gets sent whenever you request a page on the app, or it gets sent to advertisers. And as a result, if you turn on your VPN and you have any apps on your phone that have previously been logged in without your VPN, they know who you are because that unique ID is tied to you specifically. So it doesn't matter how many times you change your IP, if you connect through like 10 proxies end to end, or if you're like on the moon, because that ID was assigned to your identity and it's still being submitted. Which is why people do like burner devices, because you have to have completely different apps, completely different accounts, tied to completely different emails, tied to completely different phone numbers on a device that has never been connected, not through a VPN. Because otherwise it leaves behind traces that get submitted to the apps and to the advertisers and to your email companies, and they never need to look through the VPN because they already know who you are.
So I just want to leave that nugget for everybody, because they're trusting all these different VPNs, and at the end of the day, those VPNs are making money. They probably sell your stuff too. So I mean, you got to charge the game.
This most folks go to too. Just use a VPN.
Facts. And the last one I think I'm gonna do, it's 5 minutes. I don't think we're gonna get into all the 5 minutes of it. I read through the article of Business Insider. You can find this woman's story about Deloitte. Kenneth shared some of his story, but she made a TikTok, and we can watch a little bit of it. And then we'll kind of stop.
Deloitte has failed its Black employees, including me. I was laid off last September, and I shared my story this fall in the Business Insider and the Financial Times, and it was featured on the Harvard website. I want to share this message I received, and I received so many amazing messages from people of color who are currently at Deloitte, and when they saw my Business Insider article this fall, which went viral globally with over 2 million reads through the Business Insider alone, and many global articles were published. It was disheartening how many people are living in a dark space as a person of color at Deloitte because they feel unseen, unheard, undervalued, and nobody is having the courage to ask people of color how they can be better supported at Deloitte. You cannot call yourself a great leader and not be able to internally or even publicly admit you have not supported Black practitioners at all. And I say this confidently because so many people, whether they used to work at Deloitte 20 years ago or who are working there now, are suffering because people are not acknowledging that the system at Deloitte was not built to support us. Now, let's be blunt in that Deloitte is a difficult place for all people of all backgrounds. I have so many messages from all of you, regardless of your ethnicity, what you identify as, that you have experienced a lot of trauma at Deloitte. That is a fact. But I think coming in as a person of color, and especially as a Black woman, it just adds an additional layer to it that is not acknowledged, that is not talked about. And unfortunately, there were many Black practitioners like me who were not fairly supported from day one, and eventually this led to being laid off. And I think that's what shocked me, how many people reached out to me and said a similar thing happened to them where they were not supported as much as they felt their maybe white counterparts were, and they were essentially laid off even though they never had some of the resources or support or coming from that similar middle class background that most people come from. And I think that it's so important that not just Deloitte, companies need to stop being afraid of these hard conversations. Stop being afraid and trying to cover up and put out these reports saying, look at us, look at our DEI numbers. We hired people of color. Your people are suffering. Your people are miserable internally. You can't say you value authenticity and you value Black people and you don't listen to their voices. Deloitte listened to my voice once I left and the world listened. But that's where they failed. They should have been listening not only to me, other Black practitioners internally. If it takes somebody like me going globally viral for you to even realize that you have done so many Black practitioners a disservice by not valuing their uniqueness and not valuing that their experiences and their background is different and the kind of support they need is going to be different in this environment. And really the most important.
Sure, I'm gonna stop right there because she was cooking, but you can go find her full TikTok somewhere else. But I'll just say that's most companies, they don't really pay attention to us, let alone other people. Like it's about the bottom dollar or the company culture. And I've had my own experience. I ain't go to Business Insider, but I went to the business of YouTube and I aired out Goldman Sachs, and they was furious when they saw that video, which lets you know that a lot of stuff I said was true. So that's typically what kind of happens. It's like they'll treat you bad as long as nobody know about it. But once everybody know, that's when they try to get that act together. Sometimes you got to be the sacrificial lamb for that. It sucks, but it happens. And then sometimes too, pros and cons of going viral in Business Insider. Some companies that you want to interview for may not like that either. So sometimes that depends as well. So it's one of the things you got to like, well, hopefully I get some kickbacks from people subscribing to Business Insider for this because I'm like, you know, what the deal is. But anybody else got any thoughts on what she said?
You know, I had did 2 interviews with Deloitte a few months ago, man. They had ghosted me. But I think about it as we finally get to the point where we get hired on, and then just like how you said, HD, some of them are just like pointless jobs. Like they don't really actually want us to really do anything. It's kind of like just to, check off a box. And then we end up getting laid off later on. And then they hire somebody else from a different country. So I'm thinking like, okay, it's a good thing that we're in this space. We're getting more experience. We're getting more pay. We can take that and leverage that in order to get other higher paying jobs as well in corporate. But are we really like the representation that we're receiving? Is it also leading to us having more equitable opportunities?
I can agree with that. I think it also depends on what I guess what your intention is and what you're looking for out of a company. And like she was saying, Deloitte probably is one of those places where they probably might look down on Black people. I don't know. But it's just all about finding your tribe and your niche. If you go to a company and they seem like they have your best interest, but they pay a little less, then you have to ask yourself that question. Hey, is this company worth leaving? Is this tribe this good feeling every day I wake up and I feel comfortable to turn on my camera and look like myself and be in my own skin? Is that worth leaving? Or would I rather go somewhere else and make more money? So I think it's all about being intentional about who you want to try to work for.
Yeah, man.
And everybody just doesn't have the culture thing figured out, unfortunately. Yeah, we want that to be the case, but everybody isn't able to execute it well.
Yeah, man. As long as these bills get paid sometimes. Like with a lot of these people, man, these bills are hidden. You trying to like take care of yourself, your family, trying to grow within your career, save up for retirement. There's a lot of different things that you're trying to get in life. And these jobs do help with it. But, you also want to like where you're working and feel as though that you're impactful or feel that you're getting to the next level as well. And then I think I looked at a study a little while ago where it's talking about the reason why people leave jobs is not necessarily because of pay, but because of where they are in life. If you hit the age of 30, I want to at least be like a more of a senior level, because I may not remember the pay I made 2 jobs ago, but I'll remember, oh, I had a corner office, or I remember I got a big benefit here or there, or I was able to take more vacation days. So those are some things that I think that should be addressed when we're talking about getting into the corporate environment, especially for us, for Black people.
No doubt, man. Well, this live stream, unfortunately, is coming to an end. This is the last one that we streaming for 2024. Next time you'll see us will be 2025. So I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us. We got a lot of stuff that we're gonna be working on trying to put together for next year. So y'all just hang in tight and rock with us. And people that's watching on the replay, shout out to y'all. I just started Discord. I'm moving away from Slack, so I'll be putting that link out soon. And yeah, man, let's run it up next year, man. I wish every one of y'all a happy new year. And y'all don't do nothing I want to do. But until next time, we out. Peace.
Likewise.
Salute.
Thank you, man.
Hang on. Now my thing is tripping and won't let me end it. I gotta do this. This I talking about, Destiny. They be like, what's going on? I'm trying to end it and I can't.
And enjoying y'all conversation, bro.
Let me see.
Thank y'all, man. Y'all a blessing to me, man. Real talk. Y'all amazing, man. Thank y'all for the opportunity just to listen, y'all, man. The wealth of man. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, man. I'm trying not to cry, y'all, man, but just learning from y'all, brothers and sisters. Yes, I can't explain what it means to me. AD, I was talking about you today, my baby brother, man.